Welcome back.
Welcome back. She caught me off guard there. But if you're just joining us for the very first time, this is Bedroom Diaries, where we talk about love, relationship, all of that juicy stuff with dating and more love. And of course, with the very beautiful Daniela, bold and beautiful as always. And of course, Tandy with the vibe that she's trying to pick up. But anyway, Danny. We move. Yeah. But before we dive into today's episode, I obviously love to start with questions. And Tandy, this question is obviously to you and of course to our audience. So don't forget to always interact with us in the comment section. Are there relationships that, we're just in the relationship and we're not intimate? Like, are there relationships like that? I sort of was thinking about it while getting ready for this episode.
Yeah, I believe there are. I think there are situations where people are afraid to be intimate with whomever it is they're with. So it's very, very possible because it's actually a thing where people are afraid to be intimate. They're afraid to open themselves up, to disclose themselves 100%.
Okay.
I think, yes, it's actually a very common thing. So I think it stems from maybe past relationships or experiences, maybe their backgrounds or whatever it is, maybe some form of, I don't know, I don't want to use the word damage, but pretty much bad experiences whereby they're about to get into a relationship or they're already in a relationship, but they do not want to be intimate.
Okay, so we can say intimacy is can be equal to your level of openness.
Yeah.
Sort of. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
to some extent.
Put it in the comment section if you think that there are relationships that, intimacy is on a 0. Right? If you've ever been in that kind of relationship, put it down in the comment section. Of course, your experiences, we want to hear from you. So with all of that, we are going to be talking about the power of intimacy and how it affects the relationships. Yeah, which is what we talk about on Bedroom Diaries. So let's dive into that. And I'm going to say something. I feel like this whole general perspective or definition to what intimacy is, because when people hear I'm intimate with this person, they sort of assume it's
it's sex.
I
don't understand. Were you waiting for me to say the word?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say the word.
Okay.
Yeah, so I feel like people just think it's sex.
Yeah, sex related.
So what do you think intimacy is?
I was actually going to ask you what intimacy is to you, because you keep doing this thing. So what is intimacy to you?
Okay, so to me, intimacy is connection. I feel like if I have to be intimate with you, there's some level of how can we connect. It's not like there's this connection or like this vibe. No, that's not what it is. Yeah. It is the level of connection. How best are we? Okay, so let me use the word deep. So intimacy is a deep connection with someone that you already have with someone. I feel like that's what it means to me.
You already have with someone. I think for me, yes, it's that, but it's simply put, it's just being close. Just simply being close to someone, close with someone.
Right.
And before you get to the deep connection, I think it takes time. It takes effort. It takes intention.
Right, yeah.
It takes willingness. It takes openness. It takes
yeah.
It takes all of those words. I want to keep going on and on and on, but yeah, it takes a lot before you get up to the point where you can say, "Oh yes, I'm intimate with this person." And let's keep in mind that it's not the intimacy where you guys are, "Oh yes, we're having sex," or "Oh, we get down once in a while," and "Oh, all of that." Because it's not limited to sex. Yes, sex is one part of it. But sadly, it's something that a lot of people resonate with when it comes to, I'm intimate with that person.
Right.
I don't know, for some reason, people believe that, yes, once I've been with this person sexually or we've had intercourse, we've been intimate. But no, you can actually have intercourse consistently with someone and yet not be intimate with that person, because it goes beyond just the physical. I think there are different kinds of intimacies and there are even levels to the intimacy in itself. I don't know, if we're going to use the sexual part as an example, since a lot of people resonate with that. When you have intercourse with someone the first day, it's going to be different from when you have it maybe the third time, the fifth time. It gets better to some extent. You guys have started learning each other's bodies, how you respond to things. You've started getting to know each other on that physical level. That's if you're not doing anything else. So using that and taking that into the broad sense of intimacy and what it means and the connection it brings, it's not something that you get to on day one or day two. You, one step at a time, get up to that point where you can say, oh yes, I'm intimate with this person. It starts from just a little, how are you doing? To questions like, do you have personal traumas? Are there things that you're insecure about and you're scared of? Things like that. So from the beginning, you can know, okay, this person, I know there is the initial zing, the initial connection, the initial burst of energy. You guys, you feel it on day one. Yes, good, great. You need that as the basic thing. But moving on from there, what else is involved? By the time you continue what it is that you're doing, you realize that, oh, this person is actually sharing more of himself or himself. Yeah. This person is actually disclosing himself to me or herself to me. And by the time it starts going both ways, you guys are starting to get intimate.
Yeah.
And remove, again, I think I can say this thing like 1 billion times, remove sex.
Now that you're talking about that, we cannot remove sex. Yes, sex is a type of intimacy. We cannot remove sex. If you are with me on this table, kindly put it down in the comment section. Yes. So sex is indeed a form of, it's a type of intimacy, which is what we're going to be talking about. Because we've
already said it's a type. Yeah, there are definitely
other types. Yes. So now that we've started talking about the sex state, I feel like we need to dive more into that because I hear people say, I'm in a relationship, but I'm celibate. I don't want to have sex, but we're in a relationship. True. That's where some other level of or other types of intimacy comes in. Yeah. But with the sex thing, let's not shy away from it. A lot of people are having sex.
All of you.
15-year-olds already having sex. So it's a form of intimacy because I hear a lot of marriage counselors when they're talking about, the relationship between the spouses, and they say that you cannot rule out sex. Yeah. Because sex is, to me, it's
a form of expressing your feelings.
You're expressing, yes. There's some things that you necessarily cannot say. But with sex, you just sort of like...
You say it's in the bedroom.
Or like, oh my God, I'm expressing how I feel. Like, you just see it. I'm tempted to use myself as an example here.
Use yourself as an example.
So there's this one sex that I had. It was so good that I literally cried. Yeah, I cried. Like, it was really so good. Like, the guy gets my body. He gets the language. He gets how I'm feeling, and I really liked him. And it was just so good that I just got to the point where I'm tearing up and I'm crying. I'm like, aww. And then after the whole practice, he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Don't ask me. I'm good." Like, you're good. You're so great. Good. So in that moment, it's like there's a connection. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a deep connection. That's
not something that you fake with whatever casualness.
No, you cannot fake it.
No,
you can't fake it. So all of the people who shy away from, I don't want to have sex. We can be in a relationship, and I'm celibate. I don't want to have sex.
How they are doing it, I'll never be able to understand.
Excuse me. Yeah, how are you guys in a relationship? Yes, I know there's other levels that you guys will connect on, but then sex. How?
We're not going to dispute the fact that you making a decision in your relationship to be celibate does not make any sense. Yeah, it's your reality and you know exactly why you're doing it. But a lot of the times, you've got to express some feelings, some certain types of ways and stuff like that.
I saw a video recently of, sorry to cut in, but I saw a video recently of one of our Nigerian celebrities where she's like, "Babe, I cannot do this again."
She can't do it anymore. Yeah,
you saw that. She cannot do it again. Like, her body is doing her.
She'll get married.
Do you understand? Yeah. Like, get married. That's how sex is important.
Our bodies are designed for this thing. Why are you?
Yes, it's a sacred. We're not saying be having sex left, right, center, but you're in a relationship. It's you're committed to the relationship. So why not have sex? It's good in the kitchen, in the bathroom, like.
Of course, and I think a lot of times people say that, oh, the whole celibacy act, it has some form of effect on them and their spiritual lives, and then they feel more connected to God, and it's something about their spirituality and their love and connection to God. How that really works, I really do not know, but okay.
You know how I know for sure that. So recently, I've just been on this whole. I think we're not going to talk about spirituality as a form of intimacy. Yeah. I know that for sure that this period, I've just been really conscious about my my spirituality, the journey, and all of that. Okay. And I know for sure that right now, with what people in the world, and I'm just going to say with Africa, with how we perceive spirituality is really not what it is. A lot of persons are like, oh, because my pastor said this, or because my imam said this, I'm not going to do this. But what do you know? What do you know for sure for yourself when it comes to spirituality? So you mentioning, oh, I'm celibate because of my spiritual background or all of that. Is that what you know for yourself, or based on what? You go to church and you hear that.
Africans generally believe that spirituality and religion are the same thing.
Totally different.
They're different.
Yeah.
It's not about you going to church and praying and jumping and thanking your God for, maybe that's some form or aspect of it, but it is not all there is. There are different ways in which you can connect spiritually with someone.
Right.
And might not involve a being that was said to create the world. So in that case, you need to understand yourself. I actually think that the way Africans view spirituality, that it's related to religion. It's about, the going to church and then the praying to God and asking him to help you in your endeavors, or going to mosque and praying every other Friday, and then we believe that is what spirituality is, and that is all there is to it, really.
But in this aspect of spiritual intimacy, I feel like, just like you said, the African thing, but with spiritual intimacy, it is based on your belief, right? As an individual and as a couple, what are your belief system in the relationship? That sort of brings you guys closer together, because now are you believing that, life is precious? Or are you believing that, life is just, you don't see life as, it's just an instant. Like, you don't see life as, I would just say like life is just life. Like, you don't appreciate it, So your spiritual level just brings the closeness together as a couple. I think that's the whole idea of this whole spiritual intimacy.
I think it's more than that in terms of it's, let's relate it to the word spirit itself. Spirits are supernatural. You cannot see them. You cannot touch them.
Yeah.
It's connected to perhaps your soul as well. So that level of intimacy sounds so deep.
It's deep. It's definitely deep.
It's pretty much how you view yourselves around that. Because you have parts of yourself that go beyond your body, your mind, and all of that. They say we have our spirit, soul, and body, right? So that soul part, or the spirit part, is what then has to do with how you guys both connect spiritually.
Right.
How you are able to fuse your energies, or pretty much yourselves on that level of spirituality, whereby you just blend, and that is just it.
And that's why I gave the instance of your belief system, or how you believe that, or like individually now, what you believe, right?
Yeah.
And how you see life. I use life as an instance because I feel like that plays, it's sort of, is, how am I going to put it? Like, the best way I can describe it, right? Your belief system, like, how do you see life? Are you guys seeing life as precious together? Because that's what because if I'm in a relationship with a guy and I believe like, this is how I should live my life. Yeah. And then he believes another way. We're not close. If whether it's a guy or the lady don't have this same belief system, There's no closeness. There's no sort of connection.
Okay.
That's the whole spiritual intimate. That's basically spiritual bond as an intimacy, basically.
Okay.
So yeah. But then I want us to talk a bit about emotional closeness. So I'm going to go back now to when we talked about sex. You see how a lot of people believe, and I'm one that believes that sex, when we have sex, it's like we're bonding, spiritually. So sex,
so it goes beyond the physical.
It goes beyond the physical. Sex is sacred. It's like the soul, the spirit. We're spirit beings.
Okay.
We're not. I mean, this is not
just the body.
We're not just the body. Yeah. So while you're having sex, that bond, it's it's like your soul and your spirit are having intercourse, So I just needed to connect this whole spirituality with the sexual intimacy. So, but now I want us to talk a bit about emotional closeness, and how being vulnerable, because I know for a fact that a lot of people are in relationships but are not vulnerable enough to be connected. To be connected, yeah. Thank you for putting that word in my mouth. Like, a lot of people are not vulnerable enough to be connected together in a relationship, and I feel like that's a level of intimacy, because I can't be in a relationship with you where I can't talk about how I feel.
For me, it's pretty much just this whole spiritual bonds that you've talked about, the bond you share, then it's infused into the sexual activity. I think all of this is they are intertwined.
Right.
Because if you do not have some emotional feelings for this person that you're being physically intimate with, there are some feelings you're not going to get while in your act of intercourse, right? Just like you said, there is the connection spiritually. There's also the connection physically in terms of our bodies, but our emotions are also involved. Yeah. So even besides the whole emotions of caring for each other and being there for each other in situations where you need each other, just all of that, the caring and all of that. Sexually, there's also that. But putting that aside, right? Emotionally, you have to connect, right? Emotions, not everybody understands your emotions. I know for a fact that using you and I, there's some things that you would express and I wouldn't get it.
Yeah, sure.
And someone closer to you would get it, right? I've seen it happen before me a bunch of times.
Right.
And it's where, and it's not all the time, and it's not with everyone you have that level of intimacy of your emotions being really understood and being interpreted correctly all the time. Well, maybe not all the time, but being interpreted correctly. And one then feels, in this space, or when I'm with this person, I can express my emotions freely. I can be myself 100% to a very good extent and feel comfortable with that. And I'm not going to have any form of, reluctance in putting myself out there, because we've already gotten to that level whereby this person is my person. My emotions are valid to this person. This person definitely cares about what I feel and will do something about what I'm not okay with. Yeah. Stuff like that.
But then people do not just get to that point.
No, they don't.
In relationship, because I know for a fact that you can just have sex, but would not connect enough to be vulnerable, to share my feelings with you, you know? So people don't, you cannot just be in a relationship with someone and you feel like you're going to get there. It's like a gradual process. But is this something you need to put into consideration? Yes, because I want to be in a relationship with you and I know that I can be able to share certain things with you. You need to, for one, I need to feel how you're feeling and I need you to feel how I'm feeling. So that's a level, we would grow there gradually, but it's not something you need to neglect. No matter how I feel like sex is important, spirituality is important, you cannot neglect talking and, being open to how you feel in the relationship. So that's a level, that's a type of intimacy that a lot of persons shy away from, and it is sometimes is based on their past experiences, the past hurt. If you've not watched our episode on healing after a breakup, please do that. Yeah, you need to heal to be able to get into another relationship. So go and watch that episode. So it's based up on their past experiences, the hurt, all of that, what they've seen, what they've heard. You know, people, especially with dating in Lagos now, you don't even know who you're dating. You don't even know whether who you are dating is...
You're dating a family of people.
You understand? You might probably be dating this guy and you don't even know whether you're his first or you're probably his second side piece. You know, of that.
I saw this... this meme, the babe was asking the guy, "Oh, am I your main babe or your side chick or etc."
Right.
And then the guy said, "etc."
You can imagine. So you can imagine. So a lot of persons with that mentality might not just be vulnerable enough, but it is an ingredient for the relationship. It's a level of intimacy that you need to look into. It's difficult to open up. It is difficult to open up.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
And I think the other one that we can actually talk about is the intellectual part. I think we mentioned it before.
Oh, yes.
We mentioned it earlier. So the intellectual level of intimacy. In this, well, as we've already said, all the levels, the physical, the spiritual, the emotional is also linked with intellectual. All of them work together because by the time you say, oh, you want to have a decent conversation with somebody and the person does not understand what you're saying.
Right.
You're not communicating. So you're not on the same level of intellect. Either one is more intelligent or the other is not it. So intellectual intimacy comes in line with communication with the person, which then helps with building emotional intimacy, and then the others, and so on and so forth.
You see how all of them just
align.
They just align. So if one is missing, it's like the other one is the foundation is gonna shake. Yeah. Because I watched one of this marriage counselors on the internet, and they were saying that we have 24 hours. So let's say, you're spiritual, and then you pray for like maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and then you have sex. Like, can you have sex for like 2 hours straight and all of that? Then after that, what then happens? Can you guys stay and talk? Yeah. Are you guys able to talk to each other? Yeah. Do you guys connect on that level? Are you free to share how you feel with each other? So I feel like they all just, like you said, they all just connect. If we cannot communicate, it's sort of would I say sort of wounds the emotional closeness, because we can't share things, we can't share anything at all.
Everything else is then shaky. Everything else becomes can inevitably just not click. Right. Pretty much something like that.
So communication is a form of intimacy. We can say that for sure. Because if we're in a relationship and we're not talking, what then are we doing? With all of the types of intimacy, they all sort of have a link. This is not above the other one. Yeah. So they all just, link together. But guys, put down in the comment section if you have like a type of intimacy that we fail to talk about, put it down in the comment section. Let's continue this conversation there. I want to hear from you guys. So I'm going to before we leave, I'm going to say something about how important these intimate moments are to the relationship, how the power of intimacy
affects the relationship. So pretty much the effects of intimacy in your relationship, because it's not just about knowing these types of intimacies. It's how they work in your relationship. Right? If you're not spiritually connected or emotionally connected or all the other connections, then you might have issues in your relationship. And then I think the most basic of the effects that you can have in your relationship is the foundation. Right. Right? Once you're intimate, once you're so connected and bonded with amongst yourselves, or your relationship is so grounded that this is how you feel about each other, it just helps to make everything work. Everything just flows. Once you set your foundation right, the building itself is good.
Right.
So whatever storms might come, I don't know why I'm speaking like, oh, I'm a pastor. So whatever storm might come to shake up your relationship is going to be fine because you've already built it on solid ground again.
Again, she's sounding like Pastor Tandy in the building.
You know what I'm saying? But for real though, once you have your foundation right, everything just works, right? Because by the time you're having maybe clashes, conflicts, somebody is trying to, I don't know, there's a third party in the relationship. It's the connection that you've built within yourselves that is going to make things work, honestly. Because if you do not have that, just little things here and there, one disagreement can cause that. And if you do not take, for instance, the intellectual aspect, if you do not connect on that level whereby this person is saying something and they understand what you're saying, nothing can work. You'd literally just be fighting over unnecessary things. You'd be having conflict over things that can be sorted out over a simple conversation that both of you understand what each of you are saying, pretty much.
And you see how they say that, sex is just, a man can get sex. Sex is not like, a meaningful thing or a big thing that everyone should just rely on. You see how they say that if you as a girl, I'm now sort of like digressing to the gender, if you as a girl feel like, I have to give my man all the sex, that alone cannot hold the
cannot hold him down.
Hold him down. Yeah. It cannot make him feel like, there's something more. A man wants to see that his life is sort of progressing.
Yeah, anybody really.
Anybody, but if you feel like the whole sex thing is, let me focus on this and just hold on that would not, because intimacy is beyond two bodies just coming together. So if you feel like that's the only thing that's going to hold your relationship down, you have to think of other things, because when the sex is not there, for instance, your partner travels, and you guys need to be intimate. You guys need to, that closeness, like I said before, intimacy is connection. That closeness has to be there. Is it the sex? If the sex is the only thing that keeps you close, what then happen when he or she travels? If
that's what is making your relationship move.
What then happens?
What happens when you cannot have that?
So you cannot say, this is going to be above the other one. They all have to work together. They all have to just...
I think there's this thing that people tend to say a lot. Once you're happy with your first major relationship, because once you're in a relationship with someone, it's kind of becomes your priority relationship. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's not like you're going to disregard your family, but it's just that becomes your primary relationship where you're invested in. Once you have that right, for some reason, everything else just becomes easier.
Right.
You're healthy, both physically and mentally. When you're having things bothering you or things where otherwise a lonely person might maybe go see a shrink. It's just an instance. Once you're in a relationship with someone that you're actually intimate with, not the intimacy whereby people just believe, when we hug, we feel this way and things like that. No, actual intimacy in terms of how we've described it to be so far. Once you have that, you just realize that some things just become easier. Something that would stress you on a normal day just wouldn't the moment you're with your significant other. It even, some people actually say it helps with physical health. Some studies have actually gone into it. That one I've read about it, where people said, it was when I got into this relationship and it was at this level of our relationship, for some reason, I just started feeling better health-wise. And it actually happens. I've seen it happen with one of my friends. She just said, all those things that gave me headaches, like on a daily basis, all I needed to do was call my guy, and that was it. I just felt the relief. Just one phone conversation. We don't even have to do the whole let's see and get our bloods pumping. Anyway, but there's that effect that it can have. So it cures stuff like loneliness. Once someone is with you, the person is with you, it doesn't have to be physical or you see the person.
Right.
You just feel the person's presence around you, even when they're not with you. And also, it just helps with the quality of your life generally. For some reason, like I said before, the way you then relate with people to some extent changes. Just like the way a sound relationship or a relationship that is built with a good level of intimacy is, and it positively affects your mental health and your physical health in many cases, it could actually also affect like your environmental space in general, how you relate with people, how you see people, how you choose to respond to things, because you know for a fact that actually I'm at peace generally. There is this form of happiness that I have that, oh, this one that is going on at work, it's nothing, right? Because for some reason you already have a fallback. I don't know how to put it, but you know, when you go out, you face the world, you get all the trials, you go through a lot, basically, especially in this Lagos. It's enough for someone to run mad. But then you know, okay, this is my major relationship that I have. Everything is fine, and as long as that is fine, I'm good. And there is this form of satisfaction that it brings to you, that you face things differently with some form of positive mindset, whereby you know, oh, as long as this one is good, I am good, and nothing else can touch it. That's just it, honestly. So
that's how much the effect of a powerful intimacy can cause
actually
in the relationship.
Yeah.
Ooh. We've
said a lot.
So much.
We've said a lot today
on intimacy. And I feel like while you're just talking, I know for a fact that with a beautiful relationship, or with a positive mind, with a positive relationship, with all of the level of intimacy put in place, I mean, I feel like you can conquer the world.
You can conquer the world. Honestly.
Okay, so that's basically, you want to throw more light?
No, whatever light. I'm not throwing any light. I would pretty much just ask you if you've gotten to that level with someone whereby I'm untouchable.
No pressure with no brakes. She's not just asking me the question, so she's obviously asking you guys to put it out. I'm not avoiding it, but right now, should I start thinking about the level of, well, I would answer that in the comment section, so that we'll just finish all of that in the comment section. And we've come to the end of this episode, which is so powerful. Intimacy. Actually. There was a lot of ups and downs, but it was fantastic that we had to talk about this. But yeah, let's know what you think about the power of its intimacy and how it affects the relationship in the comment section. And of course, we'll be there to, reply all of the comments. Yes.
Don't forget the usuals. Like, subscribe, share, talk about it, follow us. Follow us on IG, Bedroom Diaries, and all of that stuff. Send us an email. Don't forget to click the notification bell. Yes, the bell. That is very important. It definitely will notify you when we put out something new. Exactly. And of course, send us an email. Yes, we'll not forget that. In case you want to share your beautiful story, all of that. You have some questions, and you feel like there's a story that you want us to just talk about into the channel. Yes, send this to us on the email on the screen or in the description box. All of that. And is a sign out from me, Balda Fair, in Tandy. All right, guys. See you in the next episode. Bye.